Yo, 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 back at y'all with another live from my last and very first live last week, last Sunday, in regards to it was titled that I am the greatest fantasy football player in the world. The reason why I made that statement and proclaimed to be the greatest fantasy football player in the world is because that I currently have a 60.9% win rate uh, throughout the past 4 seasons. My current record, I believe, was 39, something like 39 and 25. If you go check my last live, you can look it up. You can view it. I put up the my Yahoo fantasy profile and my winning percent rate and how many wins versus how many losses that I have. Today, what I would like to do, the reason which will kind of the second, it's kind of a second part from that video. The reason why I say that is because we looked up in our Google Bill Belichick's win 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 percentage record, being that he's considered one of the greatest NFL head coaches ever. Came out that he had a 66.6% win rate throughout his career. Now, once I Googled what is the average winning percentage of NFL head coaches, it states here, as you can see, that the average winning percentage for all NFL head coaches starting in 1959 is about 43.2%, with a standard deviation of 15.2%. So the average winning percentage for NFL head coaches is a 43.2%. And it even says with a standard deviation of 15.2% plus or minus. So even if you take 15%, 15.2%, and add that onto the 43.2%, you get something like, what is that, like 59%? I don't even think that's crossing into the 60 percentile range yet. Just give me one quick moment. I should be able to do it in my head, but I want to be precise. So that will be 43.2 plus 15.2 comes out to 58.4%. And again, I have a current win percentage of 60.9%. Also, what I looked up was I wanted to look up the greatest winning percentages for NFL head coaches, in the history of the game. And the first state here, as you see, some well-known great legends that we've heard of. I never really heard of Guy Chamberlain. I think I've heard of Guy Chamberlain, but not like I have heard of John Madden. I'm sure everyone's known and heard of John Madden. Even played his video games on, the entertainment consoles. Vince Lombardi, we've all heard of him. But yeah, as you see here, the first one has a 78.4% win rate. John Madden has 75.9%, 73%. So it seems like the greatest legends, the top one, two, three, four. There are only four who have above a 70% winning percentage rate, down to number 8, which is Blake Flaherty. Now, I actually opened this because they had like 23 coaches listed. And I think the 23rd was, I think his winning percentage was somewhere around the 62% range. But yeah, so being that I have gathered these figures, these percentages for you all, and knowing that it just previously stated that the average winning percentage for the head coaches is 43.2%, with a standard deviation of 15.2. And when we added that, it came out to like 58.4%. Again, I have a 60.9% win rate. So even when you add that 15.2% deviation, I'm still well above that. Well, not well above it, but I'm still slightly above that. So that leads me to say, with logical sense and statistics backing that up, that my 60.9% win rate is of an elite status. Um, and again, I think I'm proclaiming myself to be one of the best, or if not the best, fantasy football player in the world, until someone provides me, until anyone out there in the world can provide me with some type of, fantasy football history evidence that you have more than a 60.9% win rate. Also, with 2 Super Bowl wins, under your belt, with at least going back, 4 season history. Can't just be 1 or 2 years. We need some type of, consistent time, some consistent time lapse of your record to to let those percentages kind of even out, those wins and losses kind of even out. Anyway, so that's I just want to stop on that one. Like I said, that's the reason why I proclaim myself to be that until I see a record that's greater. I mean, a winning percentage that's greater than mine, with more Super Bowl wins, then I don't really see anyone doing or have done what I did. Now, it may very well be another person out there that has that, but being that no one has hit YouTube and is doing what I'm doing for is, going to detail their fantasy football season each and every year from here on out. And pretty much, just giving people points, tips, and how I do stuff and things like that. We'll see how it goes. I hope to, spark a new type of genre where people, they want to share their fantasy football leagues and their conquest, their pretty much their journey on to trying to get to the football, whether they win, loss, or what have you. We'll see if more people get on YouTube and start to do this. But it seems like I'm the very first, because I've been trying to search and look up people who's doing this, or just put it keywords as far as fantasy football league and stuff like that. I just haven't found any. So hopefully I've started something new. Anyway, so let's go on to my team. Give me a second, because some things has also transpired since then. Some new things. Last week, before the game started, I had Mike Williams in my lineup. He gave me a lot of points, and then he got hurt. Come to find out, he got an ACL tear, and he's out for the week. Also, since then, I put in a trade. I had Josh Jacobs, and I was pretty much getting fed up with him. I traded Josh Jacobs, and I received Jacoby Myers. The reason why I did that, of course, is because Mike Williams got hurt, and I wanted, hopefully, he'll turn out to be a solid number 2 wide receiver. But my other receivers, I needed a solid, because I just wasn't trusting. Where is he? DJ Hopkins. Ryan Tannehill's trash. Even though DJ Hopkins gets targets, he hasn't really been doing anything with them. You know what I'm saying? Being that he was my second wide receiver drafted. Oh, that's Hunter Henry. Even though he was my first wide receiver drafted, you know what I'm saying? My second wide receiver drafted. I need the first game 13.5 he gave me. That's decent. But those 8 points and then 7.8 points, that's, to me, in my opinion, for a wide receiver 2, that's still in far as with the name of DeAndre Hopkins. I know he's getting up there in age, but it's still unacceptable. I'm thinking I still need a base floor of low double digits from you, 10, 11 points minimum. You know what I'm saying? Gabe Davis, boomer bust. His past 2 games was pretty decent. He went off on week 2, got 20 points. Week 3, he got 10.3 points, but he only had 1 reception with that touchdown. You take away that touchdown, his day would have been trash. So, he's very much boomer bust, and I just can't put my trust into Gabe Davis each and every week. Who else did I have? I just got Elijah Moore today off of waiver wires, honestly, within the past 30 minutes. As you see, he gets targets, 7 targets first game, 9 targets the second game, and then another 9 targets the third game. It's just the production has been minimum in regards to his chances of what he's get. His output has been minimal in regards to production that he's trying to put out. So I got him on my bench. I'm thinking that's a good handcuff. Maybe he'll turn it up more this season. Plus their schedule seems to be easy lax. Their defenses ain't really nothing. Baltimore defense ain't like what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? We'll see if he can get it turned on later on in the season. Eckler's been pissing me off. He's been injured since week 2. He hasn't played since week 2, and again he's going to be injured again this weekend. So this will make the 3rd game in a row that I'm going without my number 1 draft pick. I'm 2-1 right now, and this will be the 3rd game. No, this will be the 4th game. The 3rd game, because he played week 1. So this will be the 3rd game that I'm going at it without my number 1 draft pick, trying to battle and stay afloat and keep a winning percentage without, my star. It's just ridiculous. I'm trying to do it. I'm doing it, but it's difficult because I'm battling everybody else who has their number one draft pick. For instance, my opponent, Tony Pollard. Of course, this was his number one draft pick. It's just hard replacing your number one draft pick when you're expecting a good minimal at the very least 18 points. You know what I'm saying? But we all know what Eckler could do. He seems like he puts up a good high 28 to 33 points with ease. With ease. So just missing him, man, from out of my starting lineup, it's just a hassle. And it's just I hate doing stuff like this because you always gotta try to, find other players who can try to possibly produce what he's producing or at least half of what he's producing. So a good thing I was deep at running back because I can hopefully I can kind of withstand and hold off until Eckler gets back. But I'm kind of depleted now because I had Josh Jacobs, which I traded for Jakobi Meyers. Even though Josh Jacobs was, his first 3 weeks was trash, he could possibly, turn it up and turn it on the rest of the season. But I took the chance because I really needed a strong receiver who gets a lot of targets with the potential of turning those targets into great production. Now, I did a post on Facebook. I did a post in a fantasy football group on Facebook, asking the group if me trading Josh Jacobs for Jakobi Meyers was a good trade, and an overwhelming like 95% of the people were saying I shouldn't even be playing fantasy football. That was a trash trade. No. One person said that it's always a guy like you in the league. So pretty much everyone was saying that was a trash trade and I messed up and I'm going to regret it and everything like that. But again, and it's like, well, and I even commented back on the post and explained them my situation as far as Mike Williams getting hurt, who my squad is, and I don't really have a reliable number 2 receiver and everything like that. And they pretty much still was telling me that it's still a trash trade. But again, they don't know who I am and what I've done and how much I've won and everything like that. We'll see this later on this season. Of course, I'm going to keep track and keep up with Josh Jacobs, even though he's not on my team anymore, to see what he's done and how well he's been producing versus Jakobi Meyers and how well he's been producing. So at the end of the season, I can tally up to see if that trade was, was a good trade or not, and if it was to my benefit versus if it was not to my benefit. So I'm definitely going to keep abreast and track with that. And this was honestly like my first trade ever, honestly. And in all the times I've been playing fantasy football, I don't think I've ever made and completed a trade. I've always just kept my team and just worked with the waiver wire. But the waiver wire was so thin this year, I needed to make a trade. However, I think if I would have saw Elijah Moore, if I would have saw Elijah Moore on the waiver wire, I don't know why I didn't see him, or maybe somebody had him and just drop him. I don't know. But I know I just got him, and I maybe would have held off on a trading Josh Jacobs for Jakobi Meyers if I would have got Elijah Moore, and just to see how it kind of played out, especially after this week. And now that I rethink it, I should at least held on to Josh Jacobs for this week because they play the Chargers, weak ass defense, and he just might very well go off. But again, they're like, O-line is hurt. I think they got 2 starters from their offensive line who's hurt. So it's like, is he really going to go off like that? For Josh Jacobs, for me, I think to pretty much just turn around and just turn it up, to have a bang out season, like I think he's going to need those 2 offensive liners to come back and start. And I don't know I don't know when they're coming back. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I hope this is a good trade. I kind of feel yesterday before I even asked the group the question, I felt like a good trade. I felt good inside. I'm like, yes, I made a good trade. This and that. Jakobi Meyers gets targets. Because look at the 2 games that he's played before. He got 1 concussion in week 2, so he didn't play. But 10 targets the first game with 9 receptions, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. 12 targets the game. He came back after the concussion. And this is after a concussion. 12 targets. Even though he only caught 7 of them, he still had 85 yards, no touchdowns. But this is what I need. You know what I'm saying? I need targets. I need targets, bro, for receivers. And anytime a receiver especially a wide receiver number 2. He's not even the number 1 receiver on the team. He's the second one, and he's getting over 10 targets per game. Man, you got some starters, receiver ones on their team who's not getting over 10 targets a game. So yeah, I'm thinking this was a good trade, dog. Plus, I needed a receiver. I needed a receiver who can at least give me 10, 12 points a game minimum. I don't want to put in a receiver. I'm hoping that he's at least gonna catch some of his targets and at least produce for me, like Gabe Davis, boom or bust. That's like, it's just every time I start Gabe Davis, it's just like you praying, hoping, to wishing, dog. You biting your fingernails and everything because it's just like, it's just like, damn, you be looking at the things like, man, he don't have no points yet. He only got 1 or 2 points yet. Y'all gonna throw to him, y'all gonna give him the ball. What's going on? It's just, God, it's like fucking sweating bullets starting Gabe Davis, dog. Sweating bullets. It's like if he goes off and you're happy because he's gonna go off for a big one. But it's like it really happens in a whole season for Gabe Davis. Like out of all 18 games, he'll have 4, maybe 5 big games, and the rest of the season is just mediocre to trash. So I was like, I needed that trade, but we'll see. We'll see how it transpires. We'll see exactly how it transpires. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is just who I'm starting right now. I'm kind of like, what I'm saying? It's like I'm kind of iffy about a couple of people. Usually I'm just iffy about one, but it's a couple of people this week because, all right, of course I'm starting Waddle. Even though they're playing Buffalo defense and their secondary is kind of nice, I'm not going to bench Waddle. That's just one of the dudes that you just got to start. Plus they playing Buffalo, so it's going to be a shootout. So Waddle's getting started. Jacoby Myers, I think Garoppolo's not playing. He's got a concussion, so they're playing their backup quarterback. And it's like, well, do I want to bench Jacoby Myers because I don't know what type of camaraderie I'm going to get between the two because they haven't, I don't think the quarterback has played with the starting team and had built up some type of, rapport and throwing the ball to them. So, it's like I'm kind of rolling the dice with starting Jacoby Myers, even though I just got him from the trade because I don't know what the rapport between the two is going to be. You know what I'm saying? It's like going blind. I don't know what I'm going to get. I'm just going by the production and the targets that he's got within the past 2 games that he's played. Kyren Williams already pretty much become you just start him, don't even think about it, and just move on because he's been beasting. He kind of fell off last game, which wasn't his fault. I don't know why they went away from the run. They started to throw it out more, which the past 2 games showed you if y'all ran it more, y'all was doing your thing. Y'all won week 1, you lost week 2, even though it was a close, good day, that kind of down to the wire. But you played San Francisco, which is a good, stout defense, and he went off and gave me 28 points against a great, stout defense. And then when y'all want to get Cincinnati, I just kind of went away from the game plan that you had from week 1 and 2. So I'm hoping they'll see those errors and start to go back to Kyren Williams a lot more because as we've seen, he was explosive when they was giving him the ball a lot. So he's starting Ramondre Stevenson. They're playing Dallas, which is a great defense. They're very, stout, big up front. And even though the first 2 games, Ramondre gave me, double-digit points, 15.9 the first game, 15 points the second game, but they played against the Jets and only gave me 7 points. Now, the Jets, of course, they also have a pretty nice defense, pretty big up front. So, and plus now they got Ezekiel Elliott, who's, splitting carries with him, even though Ramondre Stevenson still gets the bulk of those carries. It says they play Dallas now. Should I start Ramondre or should I move him to the bench and start Josh Kelly? But I don't want to start Josh Kelly because he's been complete fucking doo-doo trash the past 2 games that Ezekiel Elliott has been out. So it's like, do I want to roll the dice with him? I mean, they do play the Las Vegas Raiders, in which their defense is complete trash, and they're saying this should be the game that he does go off against them. But it's like, do I really want to roll the dice and take that chance? You know what I'm saying? I can't risk this nigga giving me another 2-3 points, even though thank God I didn't start him last week, but I started him week 2. He gave me only close to 4 points. I can't risk that, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't roll the dice, even though he's supposed to be playing Las Vegas, and it's like I even have a good feeling like, yeah, this is the game that he should go off. But it's like, when you got money on the line, you trying to get that bag at the end of the season, go to the Super Bowl, make it. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything counts now. You know what I'm saying? That's the important thing. That's see, I think about, everything counts now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every game is important. Every single fucking game is important. And it's like, I can't risk rolling the dice with Josh Kelly, even though the past two games he's been complete trash. But for some reason, I do have a feeling, I have an inkling that he just may put up 12, 13 points this game minimum. But it's like, I just can't roll that dice, dog. I can't roll it. So I got Hunter Henry. He's in one of the first, as far as tight ends, he's one of the best tight ends this season. Tight ends ain't really doing nothing this season. So he's a lock started for the tight end. DeAndre Hopkins, he's another one that I've been like, you know what I'm saying? I can't really trust. But Treylon Burks, the other receiver, the number 2 receiver, he's out. I think he's a rookie, but he's pretty decent, pretty nice. They was trying to give him the ball, get him the ball more each and every game since the beginning of the season, but he's hurt. And so pretty much all they got is Steve Hop because they don't have anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even think of another receiver. I don't even know any other receivers on their team. So it's like, should I start D Hop? Of course, he's going to get a lot, pretty much damn near all the targets because Treylon Burks is out. But it's like, well, no, other team knowing that Treylon Burks is going to be out, are they going to double D Hop? Because that's what all they have to do is just shut the fucking receiver core down because that's all they got. But like D Hop he's not in his prime anymore. So it's like I don't really see them doubling him because there's no need to double D Hop because he hasn't really been producing, which is again why I'm worried of starting him. But it's like, I still prefer and rather take targets, the amount of average targets that a receiver gets over name value, over skill value, over anything. To me, the targets, bulk of targets and touches is key. It's the most important thing in fantasy that you want to see from each and every one of your players. So I've been iffing and playing around with my fucking lineup for the past 24, 48 hours, dog. Because I'm just like, it's like 2 to 3 people, and I'm just like, I'm still on the fence about. But I think this is who I should start. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still like, fuck, should I really start Josh Kelly? But I can't risk it, though. I'm going to kind of go with my gut and expertise. And I think the squad that I got in now is the squad that I should start. Geno Smith. See, I started Jared Goff last week, who got me, what did he get? Was it 28 points? Yes. So he gave me 26 points last week. I benched him this week because it was a short week. They was playing on Thursday night. For some reason, I hate Thursday night games. The average production from the average production and output from the players, for some reason, Thursday night is just, I don't know. It's like, what the fuck goes on Thursday night? It's like majority of the time they don't produce like you want them to produce. It's like a Thursday night. It's just, ever since they included Thursday night games, Thursday night football into the NFL, it's like, I remember when it first started, it was like, damn, why these motherfuckers don't play good on Thursday nights? It's like, it's always something about a Thursday night. But now it wasn't just because of that. I bet you because they was playing Green Bay. Green Bay secondaries, they kind of nice. They're not sorry. You know what I'm saying? They're not great, but they all right. So that, with it being a short week and him coming out and David Montgomery coming back, so I had a feeling they were going to run the ball more. I was like, man, let me go ahead and bench Jared Goff since Geno Smith is playing the sorry ass Giants secondary. Geno Smith, I think he should kind of go off this game because Giants look, they look awful. They look awful, dog. They look awful on defense and offense. It's just like they trash. So like starting Geno Smith this weekend was a no-brainer. But yeah, but as you see right now, he's already had 3 people that played. He's projected to win, and he doesn't even have his tight end in yet. Is it his tight end or slot? Yeah. He doesn't even have his tight end yet. Which, tight end don't really make a big difference. Who is his tight end? Damn, he don't have a tight end on his team. I think he made a trade recently. Yeah, he said he got CeeDee Lamb. So I don't know if he traded his tight end away, because my homeboy had CeeDee Lamb. So I forgot what the trade was. So I don't know if he just said, fuck it, I'll just go ahead and take CeeDee Lamb and I won't have a tight end. I'll just pick one off the waivers. I don't know, but as of right now, he doesn't have a tight end in the game, but he's still projected to win, which I don't know how that could be. But fucking Yahoo projections, and they should be trash. They always be off. But yeah, so far he's projected to win. I'm about to get ready to go ahead and cut it off, but I'll be back later. So update y'all either tonight or tomorrow after tomorrow game. I may update y'all later on tonight. We'll see. But as of right now, he's up 37.6 to my 0 because I haven't had nobody played yet. So we'll see how it go. I really need a big game from Kyren Williams. I need a big game from everybody, but I need my main people right now to step up. I'm 2-1. I don't want to go 3-1. I don't want to go 2-2. And lastly, I feel that as long as I can keep and maintain above that 60% win rate, I'm thinking, of course, anything over 60% win rate in the NFL, as far as fantasy football, given with what the proof and statistics I just pointed out from the elite coaches of what their winning percentages are, and what the average winning percentage for the average coach in the NFL. That as long as I maintain an above a 60% win rate, that I should remain in an elite status. Even if it's a high 50s, because again, the average the average winning percentage for NFL head coach was 43.2%. So even if I drop down to, I'm thinking still anything above a 55 percentile range, 58% at least, it's still elite level. But yeah, I definitely don't want to go below 60%, being that I'm above 60%. So it's like I'm fighting tooth and nail to, remain, to get as many wins as I can, and most importantly for myself, for my personal goal, to stay above 60%. But yeah, I'll be back later on the night or later on tomorrow possibly, and give y'all some more updates, let y'all know how this is progressing. For the greatest fantasy football player in the world, I have a 60.9% win rate with 2 back-to-back titles under my belt within the past 4 years. And yeah, until I see evidence of anybody having anything greater than that, then I am a self-proclaimed fantasy football champion, the greatest that the world has ever seen. Peace.